So let me get everything ready. Let me do a sound check real quick. I will share this out. Second. Sound check real quick. Okay, good. All right, we're good. All right, let me share this out. Yeah, I haven't done one of these in a little bit. So come on. Actually, no, not bad. Hold on. All right, all right, it's shared. Um, what's going on, everybody? Who be 186 back again with another live stream. How you guys doing? Yeah, I haven't done one of these in a while. Um, I've been busy with work. Holiday season is always like real busy for me. But I have a couple days off, so and plus, I'm kind of bored right now. I do have to go to a meeting at work, so I might as well just kill some time while I'm at it. So hopefully everyone's doing okay. Let me share this real quick on Plus, and then we'll get started with the video. So, all right, there you go. Did that discussion. All right, so hopefully everyone had a happy New Year, and a Merry Christmas also, whatever holiday you uh you celebrate. Hopefully you guys had a good one. No, I'll say it. Okay. All right, so yeah, hopefully everyone had a happy New Year and stuff like that. Let me turn that off. All right. All right, so all right, let's get started, man. This Movie on Deck, episode 5. Gaming review 2017. Now, I'm not gonna go through every month. So, pretty much what this is basically my thoughts on all three companies: Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. What they did well in 2017, what they did poorly in 2017, and I'll also run down some of my favorite games of 2017. Also, and then we'll also look into some of my most anticipated games of 2018, and maybe what each company can do to improve in 2018. So right now we're gonna go through the consoles, all three of them. All three companies, what they did well, what they didn't do. So we're gonna go in alphabetical order by console, and to my knowledge, we're going to start with the PlayStation 4. Now, in my opinion, the PlayStation is my preferred brand, it's my preferred platform, and that's where I do the vast majority of my gaming. And I think it is hard. I think anybody would be hard pressed, even if you don't like some of the games on the platform. You have to be hard pressed to really have anything bad to say about Sony's gaming lineup, exclusive lineup for 2017. It's littered with variety and quality. Not just variety, but there's tons of quality in that variety, especially in the first half of the year when you had Horizon Zero Dawn come out, Gravity Rush 2 come out, Persona 5. What else? Yeah, Horizon, Nier Automata, Neo. I mean, you got a ton of double A, triple A exclusive, whether it's exclusive from third party or exclusive from first party games that were critically acclaimed, games. Let me see. Let me screen share real quick. Oh shit, I forgot how to do that. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I haven't used Google. I haven't used Google Plus in a while. Plus, a portion of my laptop screen is fucked up. So So fuck it. I don't want to deal with that right now. But yeah. So you had a bunch of great games come out in the first half of the year, and even some of the lesser known games like Everybody's Golf, which I have, which is awesome. What other game have people been playing this year? There've been a couple RPGs that's come out this year that I can't think of off the top of my head. I believe uh, yeah, I mean there's been a ton. Oh well, obviously GT Sport that came out this year. There's tons and tons of quality games. I think has been consistent throughout the year, and when it comes to games, in my opinion, they knocked it out of the park, and that should be commended. Now, as far as maybe what things that they need to improve on for this year, I covered this on one of my other Who Be on Deck episodes. And also since I'm not, since obviously I'm not part of the company, I don't know if the discussions that have been going on internally with the company. I assume that they are, but maybe some of the bad for this year would probably be, maybe their lack of foresight when it comes to distribution. I don't know necessarily if they're definitely not as forward thinking as Microsoft when it comes to that. When it comes to digital games and stuff like that, and with stuff like Microsoft been doing with digital gifting and the way that people do their refunds and stuff like that, I don't think that Sony's been uh, has been at the forefront of that. Also, I guess I can also pinpoint the PlayStation experience. I didn't really talk about it on here because I didn't, around that time I was kind of busy with work. But that PlayStation experience for 2017 was trash, complete another trash. Now I don't mind the format that they use when it came to talking to developers and talking about the game and stuff like that. I don't mind that format. What I do mind is the fact that it was just on and on and on with the droning. You know what I mean? It was boring. We really didn't really learn anything new. At least nothing exciting. Cause like the one thing that I can gauge on if there's a conference or an event, a gaming event that I can't watch live, right? Whether I'm at work or I'm doing something else or whatnot. When I look on Twitter, and it's not necessarily the people saying it was bad, it sucked, and everything. And not just that, because because normally on Twitter you have to find a person's personal preference, right? And whether or not they're a fanboy or not. Because most fanboys are gonna shit on the other side no matter what, right? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when you look on Twitter and there really is no hype. There's nothing that people are like they're not talking about it, or they're talking about it like in a way where nothing came out. No, there's no new announcement, nothing exciting. Because during Gamescom, when Ghost of Tsushima was announced, dude, it was all over my timeline. News article after news article after news article. People saying, "Oh, this is lit. This is lit. I can't wait to play this game. This and that." When like something like that, when that happens, something big just happened. Whether it's good or bad, something big happened. When after that PlayStation experience, there was really nothing. There was no real new announcements. The only thing that was close to it was Sean Layden talking about name changes, potentially having name changes in 2017, in 2018. That's it. It really didn't offer nothing, and hopefully, um, I don't think they're gonna do it again. But if they do it again, it has to be done better. And also, the other thing that was annoying is that you didn't get a lot of release dates when it came to some of those games. It's now for some games, I understand. I understand. There's some games I understand they're still far away. I get that, and I get it. But if you're up there for some of those games, man, we need release dates. Like I don't think Detroit got a release date. God of War didn't get a release date, or at least a new trailer. And we really didn't get that either. It was just a bunch of dudes sitting on the couch in the middle of a stage just talking. And to me, that's not entertaining. Unless they do it in a way where they'll talk for a couple minutes and then they show, or at least or at least they'll show gameplay of what they're talking about. And you really didn't get much of that. So Yeah, I thought that show sucked. What else did Sony do that was not good in 2017? I mean, for me, that's really about it. Like, when it comes to the games, they've dominated in that realm. I think people can make an argument between them and Nintendo because Nintendo, I'll get to Nintendo second. But they've had a great year, and there's no denying it. There's no denying that they've had a great year. And for 2018, I don't know. I think they need to be a little bit more forward thinking when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to you know having digital gifting and stuff like that. Because that would be useful for me for my nieces. I can maybe give them buy them DLC or whatnot, or something like that. I can do that, and instead of going to their going to their place and doing it, I would much rather do it for my PlayStation and gift them the DLC. You know what I mean? I'd rather do that. So that is so maybe for more forward thinking when it comes to DLC, when it comes to digital gifting, maybe what else? Obviously we will keep bringing the games out for 2018. I think we'll see Spider. They actually released a trailer where they're they showed off some of the games that they're released that is probably going to come out in 2018. They showed God of War. They showed Detroit Become Human, Spider Man. They showed those games, and I assume those games are going to be coming out in 2018. And I think uh, Days Gone maybe a 2018 release, maybe later on in the year, because that wasn't in the trailer. So all right, we'll see what happens, man. Plus, some of the games, you have Street Fighter Arcade Edition is coming out this year. You got new updates for you're gonna see more updates for GT Sport. So it's gonna be an exciting year. It's for PlayStation. I believe it will be an exciting year for PlayStation. Now on to Nintendo. Now the Switch is the only system I don't own, and it's the only system that I'm not interested in owning. But I have to say this, and I made a video about this. You have to give Nintendo props. They've had easily the best launch of a console in a year this generation. Far better than Microsoft, far better than Sony. Now, to be fair to the other two, Nintendo released the console earlier this year. The Switch, I believe it was March when they released the console. So they had a little bit of the spring. They had some of the launch games. Then they had the summer with some of the Wii U ports, and then, well, obviously obviously the system launched with Zelda, which is technically also on the Wii U, but they had the Wii U ports came in as well, and then near the end of the year they had Mario Odyssey, and they also got Doom, which is a pretty big deal. Even though the game looks like shit on there, and and you have to admit they've had a great year this year. Tons of exclusives, tons of those exclusive, critically acclaimed exclusives. Right? You can't take that away. And if I had owned the Switch, there definitely are a couple of games I would buy on the system. Obviously, Zelda. I probably would have bought Mario. Plus, I would get Mario Kart. And I mean, I'm a Street Fighter fanboy, so I would have bought the final challenges also. So there are a few games I would have bought on the system. And you have to, obviously you have to give them props for the game library so far. My biggest problem with the company is that they still haven't learned the lessons of of their past failures. Being behind when it comes to features, being behind when it comes to power, and I'm not just talking about like I'm not talking about like just raw power because I own vanilla versions of the Xbox One and PS4. Power is not the biggest thing for me. The problem is when I look at games like Doom and they look and run like ass on the system. When I look at games like WWE 2K18 and looks and runs like ass on the Switch, like it's not even it's not even comparable. It's fine if it don't look as good as the PS4 and Xbox One versions. That's fine. That is a given. But they look like complete and utter trash compared to the other versions. Complete and utter trash. And according to some of the gameplay I've seen, it looks unplayable. Like the slowdowns, it looks unplayable when you're playing more with more than two people. It's trash. And that's what I'm talking when it comes to power when it's like when the power difference is so drastic for these big games. You know what I mean? Like in to me, like they haven't learned their lesson. And when it comes to that, they haven't learned their lesson when it comes to features. They haven't learned their lesson when it comes to online. Now, granted, I think their online service is supposed to launch next year. It was supposed to launch in. It was supposed to launch in. Yeah, the first one was supposed to launch in fall. It was supposed to launch in fall. They pushed it back. And I guess that's fine. I guess we'll wait to see what they do in the future. But right now, like I see people still handing out Francos. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I mean, seriously? Like we're back to Francos. Like it's embarrassing, man. And plus, like the overall mechanics of the system, the clickable stuff, like it's just not for me. Like I'm just not. It's not something that I want to deal with. Right? It's not something I'm really into. That's pretty much, that's really all I have to say about Nintendo. I mean, like I said, the library I think is good enough for a purchase, but the overall system and the mindset of the company is just something I just can't buy into. I can't, force myself to buy the system and enjoy it when I know that the system is just so far behind, and it's such I mean, frankly, I'm pissing people off when I say this. It's lazy design. Is just it's bullshit. It's bullshit. And the whole portable thing. I know people have been saying this about. Oh well, I bought this thing because it's portable because I can play my console games on the go. First of all, I find it hilarious that a lot of the same people who are praising the system for having console games on the go, trashed the Vita for the same thing years ago when the Vita came out. Oh, nobody wants to play Uncharted on the go. Right? Like as if Mario and Zelda are the only games that are acceptable to play on the go. It's bullshit. It's complete another bullshit. It's the same. Nintendo gets away with so much bullshit over nostalgia and bullshit like that. They get away with it because why? Because they're Nintendo. Because we grew up with Nintendo. We love Nintendo. And listen, I used to love Nintendo. Not anymore. I'm over it. You know what I mean? I'm over it. No, it doesn't. That doesn't mean that I'm going to sit there and I want to see the company fail. I mean, frankly, I just don't give a shit anymore. I don't care. But they're doing well with the Switch. It's selling like hotcakes. I saw an article where I think they said it was outpacing the PS2. Do I think it'll stay that way? No. But I will say this: if the system comes out with a brand new Pokemon game and it has like actual battles with those Pokemon, that game's gonna sell like hotcakes. And maybe I can see it probably passing. I can see it passing the. I mean, definitely. I believe it might have already passed the Wii U at this point. But I do see it passing the original Wii in sales. I don't know if it'll get to PS2 levels, but I think it'll pass the Wii. What else? There was something else. There was something else on top of my head. Oh, one more thing before I go. The prices for some of these games are ridiculous. Like I see a lot of people paying top dollar $60 for Doom on the Switch when it runs and plays a lot worse than the other versions. And portability is not an excuse for it costing that much. Not an excuse. Not an excuse. But yeah, man. But anyway, let me get off of it. Um, the last one I'll talk about is Microsoft. I think it's safe to say that Microsoft has had a rough, at least especially first half of the year has been rough. When it comes to cancellations and games, and game delays and stuff like that, it's been rough. As far as first party content is been the weakest by far of the three companies. I think that I think overall, I think they've really their weakness has finally came to the forefront this year because in the past couple years, the first year they had a good lineup of games, good lineup of new exclusives, And and then the following year they had their major games. They got Tomb Raider as a 1 year exclusive. They were doing fine. Unfortunately, once the Tomb Raiders and the Halos and the Gears came out, and then their dependence on the new games just wasn't. It just wasn't. The games weren't able to sustain itself. Unfortunately, games like Sunset Overdrive, a game that I passed this year, I beat this year. Great game. It's fun. It's fun. It's a fun game. Quantum Break, which is okay, was not overtly critically acclaimed and wasn't overtly didn't sell great. Um, you had that. What else do you have? Obviously you look at some of the launch titles. They released Dead Rising 4, which didn't do much. So I mean, and then you look at this year. Crackdown being delayed, which sucks. With the game that I was looking forward to playing, you have Scalebound, which was canceled. Which hurt, and then Halo Wars 2, which is fine. It didn't really move the needle that much. Um, what else did it come out with? A couple of smaller games. The one thing I will say about Microsoft this year is that their indie lineup has been good. What I mean, you look at Cuphead. Obviously, the star of that was Cuphead, and there's been some others. And then you can't really argue. Like you look at some of the other games, which I can't think of right now. But you look at their E3 and the list of indie games that they have coming out. They have a new Ori and the Blind Forest coming out, which I still have to play the first one. I still haven't tried it out yet, but I gotta play the first one. Last Light looks cool. But I think when it comes to indie games, they really bounce back. It is their first party and AAA offerings have been bad for the past for this past year, and it sucks because for a long time people always criticize, and I criticized them also, but people's always criticized them for being dependent on three exclusives. What I mean, Gears, Halo, and Forza. And when they try to do something new, I can understand the frustration that some people have when those games don't click. They don't hit to the point where, because the thing that Microsoft has shown, rightly or wrongly, because you have to understand this is still a business, that if a game doesn't succeed, if it's not a blockbuster, they're not going to invest in a second game. You look at games like Sunset Overdrive. I know a lot of people have been asking for Sunset Overdrive sequel from Insomniac. And Insomniac is making Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like they're on the road. They already made Ratchet and Clank, which was a success on the PlayStation, and now they're making arguably their biggest game to date in Spider-Man. You know what I mean? So they're doing that. So and I personally don't know necessarily if I would um be be trusted of another dev. Well, I would trust another dev team to make a Sunset Overdrive 2 that's not Insomniac. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would trust. I don't know if I would trust another developer with that. You look at games like Quantum Break. The Quantum Break came out a year ago, so I didn't expect. I don't expect the sequel, or at least talk of a sequel right now. But we'll see what happens in the future, because Remedy. I believe Remedy is now gone multi-plat. I know they're not like a technical. I know they're not technically a Microsoft studio, but they've only made games for that console for the past few of their games. What else? What else? I can't think of any others right now, but but like for overall, like when it comes to game library, it's been a struggle for them. There's no denying that. On the hardware side, they came out with the Xbox One X, which is a powerful machine. Like I said, the power of it is not the intriguing part to me. That's not the part that interests me the most. Like I said, I don't own a 4K TV, so I don't give a shit about that. What interests me is what their plans are moving forward, and how the console is going to be utilized with that. You know, what I mean, like they're talking about, they're talking about bringing more OG Xbox games to the platform. Um, Obviously they're hitching their wagon on the backwards compatibility thing, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they want to make their box an all in one gaming hub. So you'll have your Xbox, your OG Xbox games, your Xbox 360 games, and your Xbox One games. And I'm interested to see how the Xbox One X plays into it, and how having, and what would it look like with other Xbox devices? Are we going to get another Xbox in a few years, or is the Xbox One X is this platform that can go generation to generation with potential upgrades, and stuff like that. That's what I'm interested. That's what I'm mainly interested in with the Xbox One X. As far as what it looks like for Microsoft when it comes to 2018, they have a now we don't have a anything on Halo, on the next Halo game or next Gears game. Maybe we might see one of those this year, maybe. But obviously we'll get a Forza Horizon 4. Um, but you look at this year, they have Sea of Thieves, they have Crackdown 3, they have State of Decay 2, um, and obviously you have Forza Horizon 2, 4, Forza Horizon 4. So I am into, they're hitching their wagon back on exclusives that are not Halo, Gears, and Forza. So will those games succeed? And more importantly, will Microsoft you know support these games moving forward, even if the game initially isn't a success? What do they plan on doing with these games moving forward? That's the most important thing. To me, I think Sea of Thieves is the type of game that I think Microsoft, really wants to push their wagon to, because I don't know much about the game, and frankly the game doesn't interest me at all. But I think with Sea of Thieves, I think I believe those are kind of like the type of games like Minecraft, where you kind of create your own adventure type stuff, and it's heavily. I think microtransactions is heavily. Yeah, I think it's going to be a big thing on it, and loot boxes. Plus, um, what was I gonna say? Plus, plus it's is multiplayer focused, so we'll see how it goes with that. Even though I'm still excited for Crackdown 3, that's the game that worries me the most out of these three. Like, I mean, State of Decay, I don't care about that either. But Crackdown 3 is the one that worries me the most. Because again, we saw the gameplay revealed this past year, and it wasn't very good. Whether it was because the game looked like shit, or it was because it was presented poorly. Regardless, it wasn't a good showing for the game. So I am interested to see how that game looks, and hopefully when the game release, hopefully it'll look better and play better and stuff like that. So, but the good thing that Microsoft has done this year, I think they really established what they wanted to do. I think they're in the beginning stages of really what they wanted to do in 2013, but in a way that's more gamer focused and more consumer friendly. Because I do remember when the whole DRM thing came out and shit like that. I do remember reading articles saying that Microsoft wanted to do stuff like digital gifting, and really be push digital distribution to that machine. I do remember reading stuff like that. So you look at some of the stuff that they've done this year when it comes to digital gifting, and the way that they handle refunds and stuff like that. I believe that this is what they wanted to do in 2013, but the way they presented it in 2013 was completely dumb. The way they're doing it now, I think, is a lot smarter and a lot more consumer friendly and gamer friendly. The only thing with Microsoft that they need to do this year is really just establish your first party lineup past your major three games. That's all there is to it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously PUBG is a big hit, and it's a big get for Microsoft. It's smart for Microsoft to get it, but one would argue that releasing a game and charging people to play it for $30 when the game is not finished, definitely not finished in place. And to be frank, even though the game is fun, the game really is fun. Like for people who haven't played it yet, the game is fun. But the game that I gotta be honest, plays like ass right now. That in the game crashing and it looks like shit. Played and the controls are not great. And to release that game for $30 shows a lot of desperation on Microsoft's part to release that game. Granted, it's in game preview. I understand that. I understand the idea, and I bought the game. I bought the game for $30 because of the potential of the game. You know what I mean? I knew the game had problems, but someone said that Microsoft was fucking desperate to release that game, out in the wild for $30 this year when they really could have waited 6 to 8 months for the game to be a little bit more complete and maybe charge 60. You know what I mean? But like I said, PUBG is a huge get for them. But that game is probably gonna come out on PS4 eventually, so they can't really hitch their wagon on that. To me, that this established your first party lineup past your top three games, and I think they'll be fine. All right. So as after reviewing all three companies, some of my favorite games of 2017 is not really in particular order. I'm just gonna look at my I'm just gonna look through my collection of games and the digital games that I can have on top of my head. Some of the best games I played this year. Obviously, MLB 17 The Show. I'm still playing that game now. Um, you know, my baseball fandom has taken a hit this year because MLB decided to give the Marlins to a group of owners who have no money and is pretty much screwing us over. And my fandom has taken a bit of a hit, but I still love the MLB The Show games. And 17, I think, is the best one they've made in a while. I was gonna say PUBG and Fortnite. I have both of those games. Um, I enjoy both of them. Like to me, PUBG I would prefer PUBG if it ran properly because I like the one thing about PUBG I think that I really like is especially when you wear headphones. When you wear headphones, you're hearing the ambiance of you hear like a motor running, right? Like you're like, oh shit, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like then when you're hearing you're trying to hear for footsteps, for vehicles and stuff like that when you're out in the open. Like it to me that when it comes to like the two types of games, right? The two games that I mentioned. I prefer the ambiance and pretty much the style that of PUBG. It's more visceral. It's more my type of game. But the problem is that the game doesn't run great. And Fortnite runs like a dream. In comparison, it runs beautifully. And plus, Fortnite to me it controls better. And Fortnite's a great game too. And I can understand why. I really do understand after playing both games. I understand why Bluehole had a problem with what what's the company that made Fortnite? Damn, I can't think about that. But I can understand why they were pissed. I can understand why they were pissed. Epic Games. Yeah, there you go. I can understand why Bluehole was pissed off at Epic because you look at the map layout of both games, they're pretty much the same. You know what I mean? They're pretty much the same. But yeah. So I have both those games. Those games are great. Let's see what else. I did buy PES 2018. Great soccer game. Now I also bought FIFA 18. I bought it on the Xbox, but I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. So what I want to do, I want to compare the two and see which one is better. Because I was playing some FIFA at a barcade, which is a bar that I normally go to. That also doubles as a arcade. It's called 10th Level Tavern. Oak, it's in my part of the neighborhood, my part of the neighborhood in South Florida. So I played some of it there, and I have to say I really liked the game a lot. It was lots of fun. So next day I went out and bought the game. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing that. But PES obviously it's a great soccer game. Let's see what else. Forza 7, Gran Turismo Sport, got both games. I'm thinking about maybe getting Project Cars 2. I'll probably get it on the Xbox. But I don't have, man, I don't really have time for I don't think I have time for 3 racing sims. But Forza 7, when it comes to content, it's the king of racers. Has what, over 700 cars, has a bunch of tracks. It's a racer's dream. It really is. It's a phenomenal racing game. It has dynamic weather, it has day and night cycles. It's phenomenal. The game's awesome. But and obviously everyone knows about the whole fiasco at GT Sport when it comes to the online DRM stuff like that. And I agree with most people when it comes to the stupidity. And even though I did hear Jack Mood explain why they did it, and it makes sense, but to me, I just find it so annoying that when the game is offline, you can't do shit in that game. Can't do shit in it. Now, I haven't been able to play GT Sport in a little while. I've been playing other games. I don't know if adding the uh, the GT what do you call it, the GT mode. I don't know if that is hurt by that either. But when I tell you you can't do shit in that game, you can't even change. You can't even play around with the levity editor in GT Sport if it's offline. Can't do none of that shit, and that pisses me off to a great degree because I'm a Gran Turismo fanboy through and through. That's my number. I'll probably say outside of Tekken and Street Fighter, that's my favorite. That's my favorite non-fighting game franchise of all time, and it pisses me off that the game does that. The online DRM bullshit. It pisses me off. With that said, when everything is working, when everything's well, this game, that GT Sport is fucking phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. The car handles like a dream. The graphics are amazing. The presentation is phenomenal. Like if the game's amazing. If I had to pick which one I prefer over the two, despite all the advantages that Forza has when it comes to content, I think I do like GT Sport better. Because like this overall gameplay, I feel like it's a little bit better, a little bit more. I think I do feel like it's better. Not much. Like it's not like like the thing that people do that annoys me when it comes to comparing is that they act like one game, they treat the one game that's better as being vastly better and try to tear down the other game when in actuality both games are fucking phenomenal. I do prefer GT Sport a little bit more, but that doesn't make Forza a bad game. Not even close. The game's awesome. So I bought both those games this year. Oh, I also bought Halo 5. This year also. And granted, it's not a 2017 game. But I bought Halo 5. After I bought my nieces, I bought them the Smash Brother game on 3DS, both of them each one. So I got a game for free, and it was between Halo 5 and The Last of Us. Now, with The Last of Us, I haven't. The reason why I haven't played The Last of Us yet because that game is not my type of game. You know what I mean? Like zombie games are not. I'm not interested in zombie games. Not really, not at all. Um, no, well, I understand that they're not zombies. I understand that, but so like those type of survival games where those type of games I'm not really that into. But I also was never really into Resident Evil as well, and I did buy Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation. PS2 back in the day because it was a generation defining game, and games like that are games that I feel like I should at least experience. At least give it a try. I mean, I'm actually thinking about doing that with Red Dead Redemption too, because I don't give a fuck about westerns at all. This not my thing. But since Red Dead Redemption 2 was such a wait, is it Red Dead Redemption? No, it's just Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, I keep saying 2. I don't know why, but I've been thinking about giving Red Dead Redemption a try as well. Because it's a game I never played because I don't like westerns, but it's a generation defining game, and I feel the same way about The Last of Us, right? So I do want to try to I do want to try the game. I do want to play it. I do at least want to try it out, play it before Last of Us 2 can come out. But the reason why I think I chose Halo over Last of Us because I wanted to try out the Halo 5 multiplayer. I don't give a fuck about the story. I don't give a fuck about Master Chief. Period. I don't give a fuck about that. But throughout my life, I've always felt like I was missing something when it comes to Halo. Like, I really didn't really get into shooters until I got into COD 4. That was the first shooter I played online. So, so it's not the first shooter I ever played. Now, like I played Quake, I played what's the other one? I played a little bit of Doom, but Quake was the first online game I ever played online. But I did it on a dial-up connection, so it was like it was a slideshow. You know what I mean? So, but COD 4 was the first multiplayer game I played on a console. Smoothly, smoothly. And those were the type of shooters I was into, like quick, twist shooting, scope, you know, aim down your sights and stuff like that. Halo, around the time Halo 3, which was super popular back then, was arguably the top shooter ever until COD 4 came out. It didn't really have none of that. So Halo was not a game that I was really into. But I always felt like, man, if I just adjusted and I'm able to kind of like understand the mechanics of the game, maybe I will get better at it. Maybe I would end up liking it. And through a couple of game sessions of Halo 5, I can say that I feel like I've gotten better, and I'm used to the mechanic. Now, granted, some of the mechanics that they've added in in Halo 5, they've been integrated into other shooters as well. They got that from other shooters as well. So So like it plays more like traditional first person shooters. With that said, I do like the game. I do I'm getting better at the multiplayer, so I'm really excited about that. I did play Lost Legacy this year. I bought it for $40. Short, but I'm telling you, man, if we had I'll probably say if we got about a couple more chapters with that game, I would say that game would have been better than Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 is a phenomenal game. It was my game of the year last year. But Uncharted Lost Legacy is phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's a phenomenal game. You know what I mean? You have Chloe Fraser, who's awesome. Her interactions with Nadine were phenomenal. I love it. Like it was a phenomenal game. Played great. It's an Uncharted game, so it's gonna be great. But their interactions, I think, made that game special. Plus the graphics and stuff like that. It's an amazing game. It's an amazing game. Let's see. All right, and like as far as digital games concerned, I did play Cuphead. Like the thing with Cuphead is that I played that game a lot at the barcade, but since I bought it, I haven't played it much. I only got to one level so far, so I have to, I definitely got to get into that. Definitely, the goal is to pass Cuphead this year. On the PlayStation side, I played Everybody's Golf. That game's awesome. I definitely need to get into some online games on there. So if you guys want to play me online, Hoovy123, that's on both Xbox and PSN. So follow me there. Definitely want to get into that. It's fun. It's a fun golf game, man. Like House Golf has always been a great golf game, man. So like it's goofy. It's ever since the original PlayStation 2 version. Like the game's goofy. It has a cartoonish look, but there definitely is a real good pure golfing experience in there. If you pass all the goofiness, there definitely is. They could if they wanted to, they can make a great golfing sim in there. So that game's great. My game of the year this year, however, is Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, and granted, I haven't passed the game yet. I'm about 50 hours in. I do believe I'm halfway through the story. Well, for me, what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to level up as much as I can before I get to the end of till I get to the end of the story. Because I obviously the only two monsters I haven't faced yet are Thunderjaws and Rock Breakers. So I know what I'm in. I know what I'm in for. So I want to get better. I want to get leveled up before I continue. And plus, I've been doing a lot of fetch quests and stuff like that. Stuff that I kind of missed in the beginning of the game. I'm kind of gone back to, but To me, that's my game of the year. Even though I haven't passed it yet, that's my game of the year. Mainly because I knew when Guerrilla Games decided to go on this project, I knew they were a great studio. You know what I mean? I played a little bit of Killzone 2. I played Killzone 3. I thought I really like Killzone 3, but you can tell how talented this studio is. But just by how the visuals of those games were. Even with the whole 2006 debacle. I feel like graphically those were some of the best graphics you can get in gaming as far as console gaming goes. And I knew that if they got the right pieces together and they decided to go on something to do something different, I think they would have knocked it out of the park, and they did that exactly with Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Some of the best looking some of the best looking visuals that I've seen this year has come from that game. All the different type of terrains and environments and stuff like that that they have in that game are mind blowing. You know what I mean? The machines are insane. It's an incredible game, right? And I know there's some people that some hate for it, and that's fine. Like, I mean, look, not everyone has to like the game. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people compare it to Zelda, and granted, I haven't played Zelda, but a lot of people say that Zelda's a vastly superior game. Like I said, I haven't played it, so I can't really judge. But to me, like a game like Horizon Zero Dawn is a game that any platform would be happy to have. Any fanboy would be proud to have on their platform. Absolutely. You can shit on it all you want. If that game was on a Nintendo console or an Xbox console, those dudes would be praising that game to all hell, right? And because to me, I think it's because I believe this game is that special. You look at Aloy, the main character, the main protagonist in the game. I've seen so much cosplay of girls looking like her is unbelievable. You look at cosplay in general for that game, and people can scoff at that, but to me, a game that can generate that type of fandom is the type of game that I think has legs, and I think it's a big game. It's a big hit for Sony, and I think Guerrilla Games knocked it out of the park. And to me, that's the reason why that's my favorite game of this year. Plus, the game's awesome. I love playing the game. So you have that, and that's my goal for this year also is to pass Horizon. So, and hopefully, I'm trying to get it done by February. That's the way that I want to get, and then I want to do a video on it a year later, kind of like a 1 year retrospective of the game, because I do believe that game is special. And I know there's some people who don't agree with me, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But I think that game is special. Um, yeah, I think I mean, yeah, that's pretty much about it. Let me just go over some of the games I'm looking forward to in 2018 real quick, because sooner or later I have to get ready to go to this. I have to go to this meeting at the job. So real quick, Soul Calibur 6. I'm looking forward to that. I'm still trying to decide which console I'm gonna buy that game on. Um, because I have the OG Soul Calibur downloaded on my Xbox, so I wouldn't mind buying it on there. Um, I have excuse me, I have DBZ Fighters pre-ordered already on my PlayStation 4, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. The Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, looking forward to that. Um, uh, arcade, and also Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition. I'm buying that. Spider Man, looking forward to that. Crackdown 3, God of War, and whatever Forza game comes out, I'm definitely gonna buy that too. So yeah, man, I think I counted 8 games that I'm probably gonna buy this year, plus whatever games come out, in the Guacamelee 2, definitely definitely that, not can't forget about that. Guacamelee 2, definitely buying that. I think that's really about it, man. Like, like, comment, subscribe if you like. I'll try to have I'll have I don't know how to do timestamps yet, but I'll have the marker for all the for all the stuff that I talked about. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching this Who 186. I am out. Peace. Happy New Year.